So just as a to update where we're at with this project, I put the temporary headway bank in here. I'm gonna put some kind of a vibration isolation in between the cells and the back of the box. I've run 210 ground cables to a seat anchor bolt or some kind of anchor bolt or something in the frame. We will be connecting power to the other side next. So I've got my sorry guys, my main power run from the alternator coming up here for charging the batteries. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the amplifier. So that's the next thing we're going to go look at, because I was thinking I could put it under the seat, but then if it's under the seat, it runs the risk of not being able to breathe at all, so it won't be able to dissipate heat. So the next thing we're going to do is take a look at the amplifier. We'll pull it out of the box and see how that looks. I've still got to put my deck back in. It's sitting right there. I got to finish wiring up my alternator. I disconnected the ignition, so right now the car won't actually start and charge. It'll start, but it won't charge. So, and I mean, my power's not connected anyway. I've got the main runs disconnected from the battery. So yeah, next thing we're gonna do is go take a look at that amplifier that I'm going to be running on the 320 the 320 Autotech engineering with the 24 amp hour 12 cell headway bank. Yeah, let's go take a look. So here we have a amplifier. The amplifier that I'm going to be using in the wife's car to run a single 15, custom built single 15 that I built myself. So what we're going to do is pull it out of the box and take a look at it. You can see it had a little bit of damage when it was shipping, but I don't think that that's going to be an issue. I've opened the box before to look at it when I first received it, but that being said, we'll open it up, pull it out, unwrap it, see what we got here. So there it is, the Wolfram. This is an Oxygen series. Where are we here? Stay on it. 1 ohm stable, 0, 5,000. So take a look. A little bit dusty. That brushed aluminum. Brand new. Never been hooked up. You can see the 0500.1. It is a little bit greasy. Interesting. Anyway, it's got that nice red board in there. So that is what we're trying to figure out where we're going to put it in the car. And hopefully I can either get it beside the speaker box or under the seat. But I don't think under the seat's a great spot for it. So that's 1 ohm. I'll be running is a dual 2. The 15 I made is a dual 2 ohm with a 4-layer, a 4-inch 4-layer flat wound aluminum dual 2 ohm voice coil. It should bang pretty good. We'll have to find out. So I'm just gonna do a quick base car recap. This is the my wife's hatchback. She got a new car, so I'm gonna be putting a 5K system into it. I have upgraded the electrical here with a 2.0 welding cable into a 300 amp fuse. I upgraded the ground here to a 2.0 welding. It's not connected because I don't want to, while I'm working on it, I disconnect everything. I got this power run here runs over to the alternator, which is a 320 amp Autotech engineering. It is a sexy mofo. So that being said, right now I'm in the process of getting the wiring to the back for the Wolfram Oxygen Series 5K. My stereo is not in the car. I have all the harnesses shrink tubed and wired up and everything. And I think, I don't actually even remember what this thing's got on it. Let's take a look here. It's only got sub, rear, and front outputs. It doesn't even have a specific dedicated sub output. If I remember correctly, it outputs into the rear channel, and you can adjust it as sub and rear. I know it's not the greatest, but it works. It's Bluetooth, and I can plug my USB into it. That is where... Then we get to the trunk. This is a 24 amp hour headway bank. That's the first headway bank or lithium bank I've ever done. I've got 2 runs of, I don't know if this is a 1.0 audio or 2.0 welding, but anyway, those are grounded to a under the seat to a seat anchor. I haven't connected the plus on this to anywhere, so if we walk around here, I've just got the plus sitting out and hopefully not hitting any grounds. It does go off to a fuse, so I mean it's not. We'll take a look at that. And I've got the bars separated here. I'm gonna end up taking this thing out and putting some covers that hold the cells spaced with some rings that go over the 2 cells at a space and then over the bars. And then I'll probably do some end ones as well. I don't know if I'm gonna build a box for it all to sit in. That little compartment right there. So this area where the car jack goes is where I'm gonna put the amp. So, and I'll just run my two 1.0s over to the amp, to the 2 inputs on the amp, and then 2 grounds. I haven't actually figured out where I'm gonna ground it to yet. It's not anything really great. I'll probably end up having to, like, I don't know, go in here somewhere or something. Oh wow, water buildup inside the car. That's probably why it's got rust issues. Anyway, we'll have to clean that out of there. That's fine. Anyway, we'll go around here. I don't know if I did any pictures of the fender before, but I did some Bondo work and some painting. Looks pretty good. Not a show car, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, this is the main run that comes from the alternator. It's mostly just for charging and provides most of the power to the system. But then there's the lithium bank. So the main power from the front of the car, power off of the lithium bank goes to a 300 amp. The two that are going to come off of here are going to be two 150 amps. So these guys right here, I'll do the 150s because I got 2 runs, so 300 amps total, which works out to whatever 300 times. I don't even know what this thing holds. This thing is like 13 point something, 13.6. So it's going to be in the 6,000 watt range, but that's very short bursts, and the majority of the power will come from the alternator, just using the headway bank as a backup. It'll sit vertically like that in between the lower portion where the slope of the seat spaces away from the back of the box. Now, the sub has come out of the car because I need to be able to get the electrical. So I've got each voice coil wired up like this, so I can put what I'm going to do is run it at 1 ohm. It's a dual 2 ohm subwoofer that I custom built, and that way I'll be able to get the full potential out of the amplifier. The amp is rated for 1 ohm. Let's see if we can actually kind of see it. Well, not really. This is horrible. I'm not even looking in here. It was once upon a time a custom JVF or JMF. I'm not 100% sure. I got it used and it was blown. And I rebuilt it. I put a new voice coil in it and replaced the spiders and stuff. Anyway, that's the current status of my wife's hatchback. Like I say, these are DIY bussing. It's kind of ugly, but it will certainly work, and it definitely is functional. It's not the prettiest thing ever. I'll probably eventually replace them with these are all overlapping. That's not ideal. There we go. I'll have to tighten that down. Anyway, we'll have to I want to replace them with copper, but to get the thing up and running and get the car back on the road before May. So hopefully I can get it on in April, and then be driving around with that for a short period of time before getting rid of the car and subsequently liquidating all of the equipment. If you're wondering why I'm short on breath, it's not COVID. I actually just pulled this box out of the car. It's probably well over 100 pounds, and I'm very, very skinny person, and I'm not exactly the gym type. Anyway, that is where the project is at right now, so that is where I will leave it. Chaos. So I realized I didn't have enough wire to run the grounds. Basically, I had enough to get the positive from the bank to the amplifier, but unfortunately I didn't have enough to run the grounds as well. I thought I could find a ground somewhere really close, like right in this pocket here, but unfortunately I couldn't. So what I'm gonna do, which will sort of film the process, this is an anchor point for mounting your car jack, which I still want to have in there. So I'm gonna get a bolt that goes from outside here. It'll be 4 inches long altogether. I'll put some intermediate nuts on it that I can lock, so I can mount the jack in there. Then I'm gonna put a wooden plate across here in this area, which I'll cut a template using a piece of cardboard and then cut the piece of wood out, drill a hole in it to line up with this screw. So after I put the car jack on there, then I'll put the piece of wood over top of that. I'll put some kind of, I believe it's 4.5 inch spacer in here, so that when I tighten the bolt onto the wood, it'll push against the base here and the plate here, or sorry, the spacer here. So you'll I mean, this I might actually want to put a spacer down here as well somewhere. Anyway, I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do it yet, but there's going to be a plate here, and I'm going to mount the amp to it. Then I'm going to run the two ground wires and power wires. So the power wires only need to run from here over to, where are we here, there, to this guy. And then through these fuses, of course, these two 150 amp fuses. They'll probably be like right there, because the box is going to pinch them. Well, actually, I might put them right here, so they're behind the box. And then really short runs of 1-0 to the battery terminal. It might be tight, but we'll make it work. And then around the corner here, up into the amp, and then from the amp down to wherever we find a ground. So anyway, that's where I'm at right now. I gotta get a bolt to put the amp rack to mount it, to secure it to the side of the car there. And it'll be sitting, it'll be sitting on this plastic all the way around, and then it'll just be the top part that I want to have something pushing against, something solid. So when I tighten the bolt on it, it holds it snug there. Anyway, that's where we're at right now. I'm currently printing more of these caps. I'm going to do full bar covers for the length, and then an end one. I'm going to do an intermediate one in here. I'm going to run out of black PLA, so I'll probably go with white rather than waiting to get more black. I don't care what color it is. It's just ridiculous worrying about the color. But it's my grounds for the battery bank. Anyway, we'll see how that all works out. Lots of videos to come. So all of my wiring for the deck is done. It was actually done before, but I had to use the ignition for something else. Right now what I'm doing is finishing up the wiring on the headway bank that I've got going on here. Hold on a second, sorry, I know it's dark. So that's a 24 amp hour headway bank running a 5K oxygen series Wolfram. I'm doing all the wiring runs and my ground runs, etc. I got to hook up the fuses. That open space in the back there behind the Lysol wipes is where I will be putting the amp. Sadly, the amplifier will have to be mounted upside down so that I can keep the power runs as short as possible and also have access to the tuning pots, because I want them to be on the facing out from the trunk. So once the box goes in front of those batteries there, I'll be able to access the backside of the amp. The other issue with that is the Wolfram logo will be upside down, and also the fan will actually be blowing the hot air down instead of up, so it's not as efficient because it'll be fighting convection. So I might add a second cooling fan with a thermostat and a relay and stuff. Not 100% sure. Anyway, why am I looking at this 3D printer right now? This is the next step in the headway plastic cap, so there's no exposed bussing. So what we're going to do is pull that off, put it onto the bank, the headway bank, and then print 2 more. That's the next step. As I may or may not have mentioned in the past, 2020's got my fuck giving at an all-time low. So in the middle of the project making the caps, like this thing right here, for the headway batteries or headway cells or whatever, I ran out of black filament, so 2 of the caps are going to be white. So if I just wanted to apologize to any of you basics out there that have OCD and everything needs to match, which is fantastic. I just don't care. I'm more about making it work, and yeah, so just you're gonna see it eventually. It's gonna be white. So just thought I'd get out ahead of that one, guys, and let you know that they're not all gonna match. So there's that. So I apologize for anyone watching who isn't interested in 3D printing. This was basically a similar item to this one that I have in my hand here, being printed in white. And yeah, this is layer 1 of 117, I believe. And this is what 117 layers looks like. So yeah, that's how I'm making my battery spacers. So this is where we got to. I think the last time I made a video for this particular build, I was talking about making a panel to fit in the side here. So what I did was I took a piece of cardboard and cut a template. Clearly it was not very good. There's lots of gaps around there. Then this bolt right here goes into the anchor for the car jack, which will go in there before I put I'll take this off again just to double confirm all the wiring. Right now I've only got my 2 main power leads going through 2 150s to the headway bank here, which I just finished the caps on the top for. I had some issues with my 3D printer, so it took a couple tries. I was Probably printing caps for about a week. I've got a whole pile of discarded ones. The next thing I need to do is run the grounds. I'm not 100% sure that I hooked them up to the right terminals here, but like I say, I'll pull the panel, the amp panel or amp rack or whatever you want to call this board that the amp is screwed to, off of there and lay it flat so I can feed the RCAs and speaker wires in behind it. And then I'll run the speaker wires under this deck over to where the terminals will be, right behind the battery, or like right above the battery behind the speaker box. And then the RCAs I'll run under there as well, back over to where they're fed from the front. Anyway, the box should... I'm a little bit disappointed. As you can see, the Wolfram logo is upside down. I did that for two reasons. One, to keep the power runs as short as possible. According to Ohm's law, voltage drop over the length of the wire increases with more length. So shorter wires, less voltage drop, less resistance, more power to the amp. So to keep them short, that's why they're there. And also it allows me to access my various crossovers and controls, etc. Once I get it up and running, rather than having it the other way or having to adjust it when it's on the bottom. That would be a pain in the ass. So it's a couple of issues. Number one, the fan is driving air down rather than up. It would be more efficient, obviously, for the fan to be pushing air upward or horizontal to take advantage of convection currents, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll add another fan or something. I don't know what I'll do, but I think only running at 4K, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's about 80% of the amp's rated output, so it should be fine. That's what is that? It's less than that for the battery bank, the headway bank. But that's definitely what the fuses can take. So anyway, that's where we're at. The next thing, like I say, I gotta do is run the grounds. I'm out of shrink tube, so I can't make up the ground wires. I'm actually not exactly sure where I'm gonna run them. I might go to the behind the seat here, maybe see if I can't get some seat anchor bolts or something. There's a bolt right there we could use, or maybe there's one over on the other side too. Yeah, there's one over here as well. Maybe use both of them. I haven't decided yet. I think probably one's good. Anyway, that's what the same bolts on the other side that the battery bank is anchored to. Anyway, that's where we're at. This is an update. Carrying on.